There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on.
When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
Good luck.
We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Rise
in the Force.
Take care of us, little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
The Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
Hello there. Greetings and salutations. Welcome to Ahsoka's Weekly Mission. This is the show where we do spoiler-heavy discussions of the new series known as Ahsoka, which is currently streaming on Disney+. I am your host and Jedi Master. Yeah, that's right. I said it. Ryan of Nerd Culture, and I am not alone on this journey into a galaxy far, far away. Please welcome my apprentice, the Ahsoka to my Anakin Skywalker. Snips herself is in the building. Hello, Snips. Christie, how are you?
Hello, everyone. Excited to be back.
Oh, we're always happy to have you here, Christy. And also joining us is another Jedi Master who is one with the Force. The Force is with me. Shh. There you go. Please welcome Cat Lady. Jen is in the building. Hello, Jen.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Glad to be back.
We're doing quite well. We are very happy to have you both here. Now, if you have any questions or comments about anything Star Wars or Ahsoka related, drop it like it's hot in the comments in the live chat, and we'll be more than happy to discuss it with you. Also, we have some special announcements regarding the future of the Star Wars Nerds playlist here at Nerd Culture Channel, but we're going to talk about that later. First things first, to business. Hello, Snips. Snips, I got to ask you, what are your thoughts on this season finale of Ahsoka, Christy?
I loved it. I'm so sad it's over. I can't believe it. 8 episodes are gone. But I really liked it. The beginning when they were talking about so much Kanan. It wasn't just like a name drop or anything. And I love Kanan. He's probably like my 3rd favorite Star Wars character ever. So just him getting some recognition. And when like Huyang gave Ezra the lightsaber emitter that looked like Kanan's, like I was so like, oh. And then I loved just the lightsaber fights in this one were so cool. Ezra's really becoming like, I love him in live action. Like he is seriously one of the best like translated over characters, I think. Yeah. Ezra is so, like, he's only been in 2 episodes, but I love him. I really do. So I can't wait to see more of him. And then, like I said, the lightsaber battles were just so cool. And the Morgan finally dying.
Morgan finally dying.
Talk about being morbid there. Morgan just finally like dying because
she caused too much trouble.
I didn't like her, and she was ruthless. And thank God she's dead. Like,
no,
geez, Christy,
I'm just happy Ahsoka showed her
or anything. Oh my gosh.
And then Morai, I loved seeing Morai. I love Morai, so getting to see that. And then also my favorite arc from Clone Wars is the Mortis arc. So seeing like the father and the son and then the daughter and with Baylan, that was just amazing. And then of course, like I was not expecting like Anakin watching out over her, and that was just like Return of the Jedi, and I was like, oh, this is so sweet. And then like I have to say, Sabine's and Ezra's reunion confused me, but I feel like Hera's was like perfect. Like she was just so emotional, where it wasn't like, okay, she's not running up to him because she's just in like complete like shock, and she's just like, wow, he's home. Like you saw like the emotion in her face. So I thought that was really good too.
All right. So what I gathered from that, as far as the positive of this episode goes, is that I'm glad Morgan is finally dead. You know, she got 2 blades stuck in her stomach. You know. Anyway, we'll talk about.
Stuck in her stomach. They just went. Whoosh.
They just went, you know, shing. I don't know what the sound effect is backstage. People, can you work on a sound effect for me? Because I don't know what I'm doing here. But I will say this, though. Thank you for those thoughts. As soon as you mentioned Morgan, I'm thinking, wow, she's going morbid on this character. But anyway, listen, we all have a dark side. We all do. I don't care if you work for the light or the dark. We all have a dark side, period. But outside of that, Snips, thank you. Jen, any positives that stood out to you in this episode? Or should I say finale?
They're very similar to Christie's. I mean, everything that Christie said, I completely agree. I mean, there was so much in here. There was so much in here. So the emitter with Ezra and Kanan, and then that interaction that Hugh had with Ezra and sharing the history of like, I actually taught him how to make his lightsaber and he taught you really well. But then how that moment stings for Sabine and the way she walks out just with some of the stuff she's going through. I completely agree. Hera's reaction when she sees Ezra and just the shock of it, where she's registering, wait, I'm looking at him, but is that really him? You know, just that. But then even Chopper was like, hey, I know you. Is it you? No way. It's really you. And oh man, the way Chopper went off. And then I did not expect the ending we got. I was trying to figure out how they were going to do this.
Yeah.
And for me, I was very surprised on how it all ended with Sabine and Ahsoka, Shin and Baylan left on this planet in whatever galaxy this is. And then Ezra making it home.
That's what surprised me. Either thinking like Sabine, Ahsoka, and Ezra were going to go home, or like they're just going to stay there. Like I wasn't expecting just Ezra to leave.
Yeah, I found that really interesting. And then Thrawn actually going to Dathomir with the Reverend Mothers, because honestly, that moment where Thrawn looked at Morgan and said, we need you to stay, without saying we need you to stay, and then just to look on her face, my reaction was, yeah, that'll feel good, don't it? Everything you sacrificed, everything you did, that's your payoff. You got what do they call it? You did get the gift of the shadows. You did get the blade, but you're getting left on the planet. That was really cold, but then that's so Thrawn to me. And then of course, seeing Hayden, did not expect that. I got emotional again. So, I mean, I have more than 3 positives because I really feel like they put a lot in this episode, and I love the whole season overall. And I was thinking about it today, man, where we started from and where we ended up.
Yeah.
Wow. A lot happened in 8 episodes, actually.
Yeah, for sure. And, we're bringing up, and once again, we're talking about the positives of what we thought of this season finale, if you will, of Ahsoka. And if you just joined us, don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any thoughts about it, positive, negative, or otherwise, we know you have thoughts. Just drop them in the comments, leave them in the chat. Love to hear from you. Honestly, all things are welcome here. Let's be honest. It's a cantina. Everybody can hang out and have fun, right? Maybe not so much, but we'll see. So, yeah, the things that stood out to me were, and you were alluding to how you felt about this series overall in 8 episodes, which we'll get to a little bit later. Don't want to jump too far ahead of the curve. But as far as the positives go for me, yeah, there were more fights. It was more fight for your life or die. It was ride or die. It's like, this is it. This is game time. Let's do it. Let's see if we can get this done. Thrawn being the strategist that he is was cool. And then, Morgan gets these superpowers, but she still winds up dead. You're thinking, man, okay, she's got over 9,000 in her system in a new blade. But hey, even the new blade didn't even help you, girl. Like, that lightsaber was still able to take you on and slice you like you was nothing. So, but then again, she got left on the planet. And the other thing that surprised me, I don't know if this is a positive or not, but still, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. So the positives for me were this. The action sequences were great. We got zombie troopers coming back from the dead, rising up and being like, I'm in a Thriller video. I'm going to come for you. Like, they were coming. They just kept coming. And then Ezra built his own lightsaber. You get some Kanan references in there. Hu Yang giving us a lesson on like, hey, I taught that guy how to build his own lightsaber. I taught so-and-so people. How old are you? Old enough to know that you're not supposed to put this on a saber. You need an emitter. You need this, that, and the other. So Hu Yang, I think, to me, is the MVP. It's like the underhanded MVP of this series. Like, this guy knows all the tricks, knows everything in the book. He says somewhat what the audience is thinking, but can't say it because we're out here and he's in there. So I like Thrawn's performance in this episode. I liked Morgan getting souped up, being possessed by the Dathomirians. She gets her sword. She goes into the night. She fights Ahsoka, which, it was either going to be a fight between Thrawn and Ahsoka, or it's going to be a fight between Morgan and Morgan and Ahsoka. We got it. We got more fights. We got more of the history, and the battle sequences were good. Them taking off was great. The return of Ezra to Hera was, that was a much better reaction than freaking Sabine being like, hey, I've been looking all over for you. What's up? Like, no. That's not how you do it. I mean, and the other thing was, Sabine Hu Yang was kind of telling, who was it? Ezra, like, more of what Sabine didn't tell him. So I'm thinking, okay, come on, where's the fight? Where's the argument? Come on, you know what's coming. Right? No, there's no argument. There was like, oh, this, that, and the other happened? All right. So they kind of breezed over that, which kind of bugged me. But other than that, visually, it was great. Battle sequences were good. And the way they set up season 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to say, I was shocked how good the setup for season 2 was.
It's either season 2 or the movie, because they haven't confirmed season 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. It could be one or the other. You're right. You're absolutely right. Because everything's going to gather together to form one big giant Infinity War type movie by Dave Filoni, by the way. But the setup that we got at the end, Ezra gets back. Ezra's going to, let people know that Thrawn's real and the threat is coming. It's coming. So Hera's going to have the proof she needs to convince the Senate, and who was it? Mon Mothma be like, hey, this threat's real. Here's the bearded dude. Here's our castaway. Here's Tom Hanks.
That one senator, I wish we would see the look on his face when Ezra walks in going, hi.
Yeah, I've been gone for 10 years, but I'm one with the Force now, and I'm back. So let's talk about Thrawn and how much he's going to potentially kill a lot of people in this room.
Real.
But anyway, no, this was a good setup for what's to come, I thought. Still some questions I have. I'm a little confused about a few things, but we'll get more into that when it comes to the negatives. But I like this finale for the most part. I think it's a good finale, solid finale. Not the best season finale we've ever seen in the history of Star Wars TV, but definitely a good one. Definitely a good setup for what's to come in potentially season 2, or what's going to come in the Avengers Infinity War type movie that eventually is going to happen and hopefully come to fruition from Dave Filoni, respectively. But let's flip the script here a little bit, though, if you don't mind. Well, real quick, because I know this happens every episode. I'm going to do it now so I don't forget. Any last minute positives before we flip the script and go into the negatives, Christie or Jen?
I know they were doing it a little in the past episodes, but I feel like this episode we finally got finally connections to the other TV shows. Like, they're really tying it in, which is like, that it's going to lead to this movie now. Like, all the talk about Mandalore, and it's like, oh, Sabine's family was the ones that died in all the destruction that we saw from Mando. So I love that too. I feel like the same thing with what I was saying about Kanan, where in the past episodes, yes, they mentioned him, they mentioned Moff Gideon, but I feel like this episode they finally talked about it a little.
Yeah, for me as a fan, that's one of the things I've been enjoying with all the new shows is how they're connecting everything. Because I think I shared this recently. Here in New York, we have a plethora of rooftops in the city, and one of them is called Rooftop Cinema. And for opening up in the season when we came back for winter, they played Empire Strikes Back. So of course I went, and I hadn't seen Empire for a hot minute since the new shows have been coming out, because I've been consuming all of that. The way I watched Empire, knowing with all this new content, I didn't look at it the same. But then, like, there were even moments in the movie, I'm like, that was mentioned in that show. That was mentioned in this show. Just, I'm loving how they're connecting everything. I completely agree. That's another positive for me, how they're doing all that.
All right. I can dig it. Man, I'm kind of jello that you got to see Empire on a rooftop cinema and Christie and I didn't. So that feels so wrong.
I mean, you don't live in New Jersey or New York.
I don't.
That's your fault.
I'm on the opposite side of the galaxy from New York, my friends. I'm on the complete opposite end. So I gotta get a Millennium Falcon and just go light speed up to Jersey and hang out with both of you and go to the movies and watch some Star Wars movies. How about that? We should all do that one day. Honestly,
Star Wars.
We all got to meet up together at some point. It's got to happen. It's gonna. By the way, when you put something out in the universe, 9 times out of 10, it tends to happen. So I'm putting it out there in the force. Christy, Jen, Ryan, we're all going to hang out together. Maybe somewhere in the middle. Maybe not. Maybe somewhere between New York, Jersey, and North Carolina, where I am. So maybe we can meet somewhere in the middle, like Peridia. I don't know. So we'll figure it out. We'll call the Purgles. They'll give us a ride for free. So we'll figure it out. There's always the train too. You can always take a train or a bus down here. I hear it's nice this time of year. Hashtag I'm not lying. But anyway. Let's flip over here a little bit. And by the way, for those of you wondering what the Bantha fodder is going on, we're talking about Ahsoka and all things Star Wars. So if you have any thoughts about it, positive, negative, or somewhere in between, I know they're called Gray Jedi. Put it in the comments. Put it in the chat. Want to hear from you. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. And if you want to see us do more future Star Wars content, stick around because we got some special announcements concerning the future of Star Wars as the playlist here at Nerd Culture Channel. See, they almost thought I worked for the studio. No, I don't. But anyway. Negatives, Christy. Any negatives for you that stand out? Anything at all, even if it's a minor nitpick.
Number one is why didn't they show Ezra escaping Thrawn's Star Destroyer? Like, how did that? Like, I know he was disguised as a stormtrooper, but he was stuck in Thrawn's ship one minute, and then the next he's just going to say hi to Hera. I was like, I just wish we got that bridge of how he got off of it because that's not like something easy to do. So. That confused me a little. And then I don't really know if this was a negative, but I was shocked that they didn't show at least more of like Shin in the episode until the end. And then also this might be a little I was kind of shocked by that. A little unpopular. Love Balin, but personally I don't see him being strong enough to hold some of the power that the Mortis gods have. So I'm surprised that they're tying him into that, but maybe it's just like that need for the power and maybe he's never gonna get it. But like personally, I like Anakin, it makes sense, chosen one, whatever. Ahsoka just has the power from the daughter in her because of like when she died or whatever.
Yeah,
I don't see Balin being that Jedi to go to Mortis, especially since we just met him. Like that confused me a little, but I love that they showed that Mortis and I was like, wow. And of course, I understand this one. I don't really know if this is a negative, but no reunion, but I know that it's gonna make for like a better story, so it's fine. But like it was a little sad that we didn't get to see that, but I understand why we didn't.
I mean, for the story, it really didn't need it when you think about it. I mean, yeah, it would have been cool to see it, but then it wasn't needed this time around. So I think it's just a cooler setup for whatever we get next.
Yes, we'll get it eventually.
Yeah, because now with Sabine and Ahsoka where they are, it's just, I think, going to be even more impactful. However they make that happen, all of a sudden they just show up out of nowhere and you have the realization of, oh my gosh, they got out. How did they get here? Type of situation. So I would agree with that. Did you finish all your thoughts? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I would agree with that because I remember at one point during the episode, I said to myself, where's Shin and Balin? I thought Shin was going back with the troopers. Where did Shin go? And she didn't go with them. So I was very surprised on how they all got left, all 4 of them, even though Balin chose to stay and separate. But I thought at least Shin would be on Thrawn's ship, and I was not expecting that. My one negative is we don't have Ray Stevenson anymore. So just it was emotional for me because he's standing on this cliff. You see the father and the son and the daughter behind him, but then I'm having a moment like he's just standing and looking into the void in front of him. I'm trying not to cry right now when I was watching the episode. So yeah, that was very I've said this many times. I felt the weight of watching Rey's performance, and now it's officially like that's it. So what they're gonna
I'm very curious how they're gonna wrap that up.
Yeah, what they're gonna do with him, because what the plan was with what you just said. So
that's a big
that's my big that I don't even know if you can even call it a negative because of the circumstance, but that's just the
I know what you mean.
It's just jarring.
Yeah, it's that leads me into some of the negatives for me. And actually, you just reminded me of something. In the green room, Christie, Jen, and myself, I got some stories I want to tell you in the green room later. But with that being said, as far as the negatives go, there was no arguments between Sabine and Ezra. They were cool with everything she did. You know, whether she told him that I made a deal with the devil to get here and find you and all that stuff. Like, they glossed over it. They didn't confront it, really. I mean, Hu Yang kind of underhandedly kind of gave him a few of the details on why Sabine feels the way she does about certain things in certain situations. That kind of bugged me. A negative is Shin joins up with the Marauder/Tusken Raiders of Peridia. At the end, she's holding up her lightsaber, and I'm thinking, what does that mean? Like, you saying, hey, I'm one of you. Like, let me join the club. You know, or
showing dominance.
Okay, yeah. All right. So she's like, I am your master now. I've defeated it. Yeah. Genie, grant me my first wish. Sorry, that's a Disney movie that just turned 30 last year. # best Disney animated movie ever. Robin Williams, we miss you, buddy. But so Shin wasn't sure what she was doing with the, you know, but and then Balin. Once again, I think Hu Yang was the underhanded MVP, but honestly, this show was called Ahsoka, but to me, in a few ways, this was more of a Balin show because Balin is the most captivating, mesmerizing, attention-grabbing character of all 12 cast members are in the 12, 15 cast members are in this show. He had so much to say. Like, he had so much going on. You can tell it in his eyes. You can see it in his eyes. People say in theater that when your body language tells the story more than your actual voice, like body language, the way you carry yourself, right, tells the story more than your words. So Balin said a lot of stuff, right? And it was great. But my negative was, and I know I'm kind of dancing around this. Sorry, I have a lot to say. It's Star Wars after all. Balin, we're going to miss you, man. Seriously, Ray Stevenson, I know you may be watching this from above, but I'm telling you, man, you were the most captivating new Star Wars character we have seen in decades. And I want to say thank you for that because your acting is incredible. There's no doubt about it.
Absolutely.
But the way they left him at the end of this, I'm thinking, man, he's at this. By the way, was he still on the planet where Shin and everyone else was? Is that where he was?
I think.
Okay.
Yes.
Because
they didn't show him going anywhere else.
Okay, is it like a Sith temple with those statues? Like, what was that? What does that signify? The statues, the people he was standing on. Who was that?
It's the
Mortis gods.
Yeah, the father, son, and daughter. We've seen that in Rebels.
Okay, was that the mural that was like Ezra was trying to open up in Rebels? Is that the okay? All right, now I got it. All right, it's coming back to me. See, I've done my homework a little bit. Glossed over it maybe some cliff notes, whatever. Give me the spark notes, Johnny. But Balin standing on the edge of that statue and just looking out into the void. Oh, like what do we do with this? What do we do with it? There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, Rey's gone. You can't recast him. You can't rewrite it.
Oh, I don't want them to recast him.
Dave, or who's the other one? John Favreau and Dave can look at this and say, you know what? Rey's gone, so we're not going to recast him. We can either write him off or we can just let it go. Let him, he served his purpose. He can stay on that planet for the rest of eternity and just live in that temple and be at peace with himself. I don't know. I don't know what you're going to do. I really don't. But John, Dave, you got a really big task ahead of you, pal. And I don't envy you because when an actor passes on midway through a series or even in the beginning of a series, it's very, very difficult to know what to do. You really just don't know what to do. So,
well, we don't know how this is going to also impact the movies, because if they had plans for Balin's character through the movies,
which I think they did.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they did.
With his arc, now they have to literally go back to the drawing board and start all over again. So like whatever they've already planned out,
they gotta
with all these films, now they have to redo everything.
Yeah, they gotta scratch it out.
So this is not going to be an easy task with what they announced at Celebration.
I'm so curious.
Can't begin to imagine what the executives, the casting agents, the people who represent Ray and his family, his friends, his estate, all that stuff. I can't imagine what they must be thinking. But unfortunately, that leads to one of the negatives is Balin's just standing there. We don't know what's going to happen. I know that's a negative, but maybe it's more of a nitpick. But anyway, and then the other thing, and I kind of agree with you, Christy. They didn't show how Ezra, we see him taking that stormtrooper to the back and stripping his clothes and putting on the uniform. And I'm thinking, all right, he's going to disguise himself as a zombie / dark trooper. That's fine. But how did you get off the ship with no one noticing?
Literally.
That is one of the biggest shuttles I've ever seen in my life. And then when he lands on, what was it, the ship of the New Republic, I actually thought it was Thrawn. I didn't think it was Ezra. I actually thought it was Thrawn landing on that ship and saying, hey, I'm your worst nightmare and I'm going to wreck shop. Like, come at me.
I thought it was going to be Ezra. I was just confused how he got there.
No, I actually thought it was Thrawn initially.
My thought on that is we've seen this before in Rebels where they do something where they drop out of hyperspace at the wrong time. So because the Ezra takes the starship that belonged to Balin and Shin. So I'm wondering if that's exactly what he did. He got on that starship, and because they were still in hyperspace, maybe he was able to time it to where he got off the ship while they were either coming out of it or still in hyperspace, and he was able to successfully do that. I mean, we've seen that before in Rebels. I believe it was Rebels. So that was my only thought on that, and I'm wondering if they're gonna do a callback on that. I will say too that the way they how I knew the conversation had already been had amongst the group is when Ezra's making the lightsabers. Like, no, we got to get ready for Thrawn. I'm like, oh, they had the conversation. Okay, we're not going to see that. Sure. Okay, we're here. Fine, I get it. We have a lot of other story to tell. Okay, I accept.
I mean, yeah, you're right. It's a possibility. They can just be like, hey, the scene happened, but we're not going to show you what happened. So, all right, we're just moving on. So that could be the case. You're absolutely right. And the other negative I had with this was at the end of I actually thought that when Ezra made that jump,
I thought he didn't make it.
That was so funny.
And Sabine is doing this the whole time, and then Ezra's like, "Come on, there's no time. You got to jump." I actually thought Sabine was going to go with Ezra, but no, she's like, "No, I'm not leaving my master. I'm not going to do it.
I
left
that.
her once. I screwed up. I paid the price by not,
I like that.
obeying her orders. I'm not going to do that again." So I was still kind of bummed. I thought, get on the ship with Ezra. Like, do you know what you two could do together? You could really bust some heads and make a lot of money and save the galaxy, because you're going to, race over to Hera and say, hey, the threat's real. The threat's real. Thrawn's on its way. We better get ready, y'all. I'm just telling you. Put those blasters
Ezra's enough. They don't need Sabine for that one. Ezra's enough. He showed up. He's like, hi, Hera. I'm home.
Yeah. I got a thick beard and I got long hair that I haven't cut, shaved, probably even bathed in 10 years. But, hey, I'm here. I mean, you're right. But still, I would have liked to have seen Sabine join up with Ezra. But still, that's neither here nor there. So when she stays to help Ahsoka, I'm like, it's gutsy. I like it. It's gutsy, but I like it. I dig it. Mm-hmm. So that was a bit of a shocker, but I got it. But yeah, those, and the other negative for me was towards the end of it. I'm thinking when not Sabine, who's the other? Ahsoka says Ezra is exactly where he needs to be, and so are we. And I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Are you giving up? Are you not? Are you saying that you're gonna live on this planet with the Ninja Turtles the rest of your life? Like, are you not gonna?
I think she knows.
Are you not?
I think she knows that they weren't supposed to escape. I know that. I think I actually love those lines. I really love them, I thought
it kind of sounded like they were giving up and trying to get home.
No, it sounded very hopeful to me the way that Ahsoka was saying it.
Yeah, I really think with where when she completed her training with Anakin, it really prepared her, because going back to what Hu Yang was sharing with Ezra about how Sabine was training in anger, Ahsoka was getting triggered because of Anakin and what happened with Anakin, which makes that scene have more sense, because Anakin says, "Is that what this is about? Of who I became? Let's go back to the beginning because you're not getting it." It really prepared her for taking Ahsoka back on and continuing with Ahsoka's training. But then also when Thrawn started speaking to her and going, "It would be really interesting to see how you would turn out similar to your master." And I'm like, oh,
That was crazy.
snap. So
That was crazy.
like, I think this episode really solidified how important that episode was for Ahsoka and her training, just because of how she handled everything. And then I completely agree. I think it's hopeful. I think it's a place where they both need to be right now, but we're going to see them in the final outcome. It's just a matter of how they're going to get there. If it's going to be Purgle, but then Anakin's watching over them. I mean, Anakin just could maybe tell them, "Go there. There's a portal, and you can use the portal to go through there. You'll be fine." We've seen it before. So,
World Between Worlds, give him a ride.
there was something else I wanted to mention. I can't remember. That's okay.
Uh-oh. That's never a good thing. When she forgets something, it's not good. I'm just kidding. It'll come back to you in a moment, I promise. Maybe. But yeah, well, I mean, I don't know if it was like her giving. Well, I mean, I didn't 100% take it as her giving up at the end, thinking, well, Ezra's where he needs to be, and so I'm like, no. You're just gonna be here for a bit. You'll be here for a little while, maybe a couple weeks, maybe a few months. But the flip side of that is, though, Ahsoka can continue training Sabine in the ways of the Jedi.
That's part of her being hopeful.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, hey, we're away from the distractions. You were reunited with Ezra. You know that he's not dead. He's fine. He's going to live another 150 years before we're all dead. So you and I can go back to training in the ways of the master and apprentice of a Jedi. And what is it? Hu Yang's there with them, right? So Hu Yang can give her tips. Hu Yang can keep working on the ship. Maybe find a way to, zoom our way out of here and leave the Ninja Turtles behind. So, possibilities are endless. There's a million ways you could take the setup for season 2 / the movie was a pretty good setup. And then Anakin showing up at the tail end of it saying, "Hey, you did good, kid. You did good. Like you're gonna be fine."
And
like,
Sabine sensed him. She was like, "I have."
Yeah, that was funny.
Just some shadows in the starlight.
I had this feeling, but I just shadows in the starlight, and it's Anakin watching over them.
With his robe, just being like, "You're all right, kid."
I know what I was gonna say. The other thing I enjoyed that I should have said in the positive portion of the show, but I really liked what they did with Sabine's fighting style in this episode, because it is really very similar to Jedi Survivor, with one of the stances where you can fight with a lightsaber and have a blaster. That's one of the stances you have in the game. So I thought it was really cool. We got to see a live action character do that stance, and I'm like, that would really be cool if that is her thing.
I loved seeing like Sabine with training with Ahsoka, like we were just saying, like how now she's finally willing to use the Force. Like Sabine opened up that part of her. Yeah. And I also saw something today online with the scene with Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine, where they are defending off the night troopers shots, and they're like Ahsoka and Ezra are deflecting every shot, but Sabine is getting shot in the helmet, and all her shots are being redirected to the floor. So she still has she's gotten way better from the start, but she still has much to learn, which is pretty cool.
Which is why Ahsoka told her, "Hey, use your blasters instead," and then she was fine.
Yeah, you're getting blasted from all sides here. Just use your blasters for a while, and then we'll get to the the lightsaber part. By the way,
they had good teamwork. I really like that scene.
I mean, going up in that temple like a video game and having to fight off zombie troopers, yeah, that's tough stuff. By the way, Black Cats Rule. That's a username I never thought I'd say on the air.
They sure do.
But hey, Jen has one. Hashtag that's real. Black Cats Rule states Ahsoka and Sabine need to grow as a team. This is their time to master the relationship. Master. I see what you did there, Black Cats Rule. Yeah, I see what you did there. And by the way, Black Cats Rule, that's one of the more unique usernames I've seen in my history of the interwebs. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. And if anyone else has any thoughts about Star Wars, positive, negative, or somewhere between, drop it in the comments, drop it in the chat. Love to hear from you because we're talking about the season finale of Ahsoka and where things could potentially go in the future. And speaking of which, unless there are any more negatives, Your Honor, let's step into this future machine because, unfortunately, we know that there's been a tentative agreement between the WGA and their superiors, and now it comes down to the SAG-AFTRA are still in the process of picketing and trying to get what's rightfully theirs, and I do hope that they get it. So until these strikes are 110% fully resolved and we all figure out what the heck is going to happen with all the movies and TV series moving forward, we're not going to get any Star Wars for a good while. We're not going to get much of any new content for a good while. But in the meantime, I got to ask you, Snips. That's right. I'm looking at you, my young apprentice. Snips, let's think about this for a minute. What do you think is going to happen with Ahsoka, or what do you think is going to happen with Star Wars as a whole moving forward?
I saw someone post like Dave Filoni concept art from like after Rebels, and one of them is just Ahsoka and Sabine with like Ahsoka with her cloak and Sabine with like her like epilogue stuff on, and they're like trekking through the snow, and people are like being like, oh wow, like because they look like they're on like a deserted planet. So like I was like, ooh, that's interesting, because there's also one from like after World Between Worlds when Ahsoka dies. In Rebels, there's like one where she's like in water. So the fact that like when Anakin like and her were like in the World Between Worlds and she ended up in the water, like people are looking back on that concept art. So I wonder what they're gonna do with this one. So I'm excited for that. And I know we said it like 10 times already, but I'm just excited for like it to all come together. Like it's gonna be awesome. Like all the shows, like Mando. I'm excited to see Ezra like rally this group, and for them like Ezra to be back, and for them to be like Ezra's like, I know what they're doing, I know what Thrawn is up to, I know what they have against us. Yeah. And he technically also knows where Sabine and Ahsoka are. So I'm just excited for that. And I think we're definitely going to get more of the World Between Worlds and that whole like weird force using stuff, which I love. And then I'm just excited to see where it goes. This was like one of those open-ended finales that I actually enjoyed instead of being annoyed at.
Wow. Okay. All right. I can dig it. That's cool. All right. Well, who knows? Anything is possible. So, Jen, aside from the fact that you love black cats, hashtag she has one. What do you think is going to happen, or what do you think is going to happen with Ahsoka as a series? What do you think is going to happen in Star Wars as a whole moving forward? What do you think, or what do you hope to see?
Well, one of the thoughts I had thinking about the episode was that Ezra is being set up as the new Jedi hero for going forward in Star Wars, because I know with the fan base, like the Star Wars fandom is so interesting. There's a percentage of people's like, we're done with the Skywalkers, no more Skywalkers. But then you have these people that pop is like, they can at least mention their name. Why don't they just mention their name? And then Leia gets name dropped. They're like, well, we don't see Leia. I'm like, okay, listen, calm down.
Nothing is ever good enough.
It works, okay? That's a whole nother conversation of why we're not going to see Leia. One, money. It's expensive to do that facial work all the time. Anytime you get that, that's a lot of money they're investing, number one. Number two, maybe Carrie Fisher's daughter doesn't want to do it. Leave her alone. Because that's her mom. That's her mom's thing. No disrespect to Carrie Fisher. And if her daughter wants to do it, great. Thank you so much. But that's, again, it's a whole nother conversation. I'm really curious to see what's going to happen with Ezra, because like I said, I think they're probably setting him up to be the new Jedi hero. And then if we're going to see the some other Jedi we know that are out there that have been mentioned from Kenobi on the wall with some of the Jedi that were mentioned in there. I forget one character's name that's very important. But we have that person out there. We have from the video game Fallen Order.
Cal?
Thank you. We have Cal Kestis. He's still out there. We don't know what he's doing right now. So what if he comes into these movies and you have Ezra, Ahsoka, Sabine, Cal, some of the Jedi that were mentioned in Kenobi that may still be alive out there, and we get this new.
Yeah.
This
Speaking
new
of
order.
Kenobi,
Yeah,
when they did Anakin's Force Ghost, like we could get all these Force Ghosts.
Oh
They're
my
all
god!
back in Star Wars.
Oh, that would be so
I'd love to see it.
cool. That would be so
Not
cool.
a lot, just like what they did in like Ahsoka, like have them show up on occasion. Like it would be sweet.
It would. So it's really interesting, a lot of the setup that they're doing, and I agree. And this is one of those season finales where it's open ended that I'm not annoyed with, just because of the possibilities of where this could go. And I think this final episode is a great example of that, because, like I said last week, I had no idea how it was going to end. So for me as a fan, I like being in this position where I can think of all the different possibilities, but I have no idea the ride I'm about to go on. So I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, Force Ghost. Let's not get too many Skype calls from the Force Ghost. Let's not do too many of it. But I will say, have you seen the fan edit of the scene in Rise of Skywalker where Rey has the saber, but like all 300 Force Ghosts are behind her, like helping her defeat the Empire?
Mm-hmm.
At the end of that, have you seen that?
I haven't seen that.
You haven't seen the recut scene of Rise of Skywalker? Oh, it is a trip. It would have made the movie 1,000 times better than what we got in theaters. I mean, I still liked it to a point, but if they added all those Force Ghosts to help Rey out at the very end to defeat the Emperor and the overall like supposed resurrection of the Empire, that would have been hashtag like bounce. So
I agree with that. I really enjoyed that movie, but then I had a moment of where, oh my gosh, we're going to see the Force Ghosts. We're going to see all of them, and then we didn't.
It's just voices. It's empty voices saying, "Rise, rise, 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 rise in the Force." It's just voiceover. I'm sorry. It would have been nice if we got the Force. Like I said, I'll send you the link to the the fan edit version of the ending of Rise of Skywalker. Christie, have you seen that re-edit? Have you seen it?
Yes.
Isn't it dynamite? It's dynamite.
Pretty
it's
cool.
Good. It's really cool. It's like boss. Anyway, we'll send it to Jen here in the backstage area of this program. But for those of you wondering, this is Ahsoka's weekly mission. We're doing spoiler-heavy discussions on everything Ahsoka and Star Wars moving forward. We're speculating, of course, because we don't know everything that's going to be happening. But we can speculate, right? People play that game every day of the week and twice on Sunday. That's what we're playing. That's what we're doing. But if you like what you see here, don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any thoughts about it, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. If you are joining this live or on the replay, welcome. And thank you for being here. So with that being said, what I think is going to happen is whether Ahsoka Part 2, or we get the giant 2.5-3 hour movie that Dave's planning, Ezra, all the cast, they're going to be reunited. There's going to be a big battle. We all know that's going to come up in the movie. What I hope to see happen is the rest of the Rebels and the Ghost Crew reunited. That would be nice.
Oh, yeah.
I want to see the inner workings a little bit. Maybe not just in Ahsoka, but some other series as well. The inner workings of how the New Republic is doing. Maybe some of the good things that they're doing. Maybe some of the negative things they're doing. Maybe how dark and flawed and messed up it is. That would be cool to see. Some of the inner workings of the politics in here with, better writers this time around. That would be nice. So those are some things I hope to see. One of the other things I hope to see is more of the criminal underworld of this thing. Because we see all these... We see the Jedi, we see the battles, we see this, and the other. We've seen the Marauders on, Meridia and the red helmets, and they're like, we see that, and that's cool. But I want to see more of those creatures. I want to see more of, what does the other half do? Seriously, give me more of the criminal underworld. Give me more bounty hunters. Give me more scum and villainy. Like I want to see more corners of the Star Wars galaxy that we haven't really explored yet. We started exploring them in other series, yes, but I want to see them go deeper. Show me the rest. So that's what I'm hoping to see. Also, I want to see the master and apprentice relationship between Sabine and Ahsoka grow. I want to see that grow and mature. I want to see how Sabine's going to be doing when the big game comes up. I want to see. Give us a Rocky montage for Sabine and Ahsoka. Let's see that. Let's see a training montage with either Kevin Kiner or John Williams music of Sabine and Ahsoka doing like a training montage. Like, you gotta do this. Like, you gotta have the eye of the tiger, Sabine. Eye of the tiger. You know, that would be nice. That would be nice. But you know what? Honestly, and I've said this before, and I know this is gonna sound like a broken record. What I hope to see are more characters, some new stories, new character interactions, new things being explored that we haven't explored yet. Clearly, we know that there are other galaxies out there that haven't even been touched, much less traveled to. So that's news to me, Johnny Carson. So let's see more of that. I want to see more of the unexplored realms of the galaxy. I want to see more of the criminal underworld. I want to see how the other half lives, some of the other criminal elements, all that stuff. That's what I hope to see moving forward. But you know what? The possibilities are endless. Why? Because Star Wars has been around for over 45 plus years. And we already know that Dave Filoni's planning an Avengers Infinity type war movie. It's going to combine everything you're seeing in Mandalorian, everything you're seeing in Book of Boba Fett, everything you're seeing in Ahsoka. It's going to lead up. And when it does, it's I just can't wait to see the first trailer. Like when that first trailer dropped.
Oh my God, man.
We're gonna be our minds are gonna be like exploding, right? And then Christie's eyes are gonna be dropping on the floor, you know. And then Jen's cat mouth is gonna be like dead on the floor. Luna's not gonna believe it. Jen's not gonna believe it. Her internet friends aren't gonna believe it. All of our jaws are gonna be on the floor, and we're gonna need like a major like assist and someone to lift up our jaws off that itty bitty little floor. So that's what I look forward to seeing. And if we get a Balin book, more power.
Oh, please, let's get a Balin book.
Because Balin was the most intriguing character of this whole series. The series was called Ahsoka, but honestly, I wouldn't mind watching a whole series on Balin should Ray Stevenson had not passed up to that point.
Yeah. I think I said on the show the first time I came on that I had a moment where I was watching the show and I started thinking the thought, oh man, it'd really be cool if they would do a spin-off show of, oh wait, they can't. It's this show with Ray Stevenson, man, that it's been a tough one to watch through, just knowing that we're not going to get him again after this. It's just really sad. But another thought I had with the movies, it's going to be interesting because of where we're at in the timeline, is that I don't know if they're going to touch on it, but Ben Solo being born and how he betrays his uncle and his uncle's Jedi Order in that temple. And
yeah, I know people want to see that.
And if Ezra and Cal are involved in it, and if they maybe die in that one. So it's going to be interesting because it's going to come up at some point in the timeline because we're working toward that where we are at now. So it's going to be interesting to see if they touch that at all, one, and if they do, how they're going to work it in with the stories, the shows.
Yeah.
I didn't mention this before, but what I hope to see, we can't guarantee this is going to happen anytime soon or somewhere down the line, right? I would like to see a Clone Wars movie with Ariana Greenblatt and Hayden.
Yes!
I would love
yes.
to see that young girl, that very young up-and-coming actress, take on the role of a younger version of Ahsoka and see the stuff that we may gotten pieces of it in animated form, but what if? Just think about it. What if we got a live-action confrontation between Ahsoka and Anakin's relationship developing, but also seeing how Ahsoka was when she was much younger and her growing up and learning the ways of the Jedi and all that stuff. And also, if they were willing to do it, I don't know if this is in the cards or not, hypothetically, but what if they move past all that and we get a live action, what do you call it? A meeting, if you will, between Darth Maul and Ahsoka, voiced by Sam Witwer. What if that happened in real life? If whether it was Ariana Greenblatt or some other actress who plays Ahsoka just a bit older, when she goes up against Darth Maul, and towards the end of the series of Clone Wars and Order 66 is being enacted, what if we got it in live action? And what if Ariana Greenblatt carried the movie on her young itty-bitty little shoulders, but she killed it? I think, and Dave, John, I know you're watching this.
I want to see it.
And John, I've known you professionally for a long time, brother. I've known you professionally Dave Filoni, I've only known you for a couple of years, but I like what you do. Keep it up, though. But I will say, I've known John professionally for a number of years. And John, if you want to be so money, you don't even know it. If you direct and you have a group of people behind you and Dave helping with the writing of it, if you have producers and executives help write the movie and Jon Favreau directs a Clone Wars live action movie with Ariana Greenblatt at the center of it and Hayden Christensen being the co-lead, I'm in for it, brother. I would do it.
Bring in Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan.
Mhm.
You can do it too. Yep, you can bring in Ewan. You can de-age him a little bit.
I would love to see the three of them.
Yeah.
In a Clone Wars show or movie.
I think you can do it. You can de-age him. I mean, it's not, Ewan, you'd have to de-age a bit. I mean, Hayden has barely aged, so you don't really have to de-age him if you don't have to.
I want to know what water Hayden purchases and drinks.
I don't know, but whether you de-age him or not, just keep Ariana Greenblatt at the center of it because that young girl.
She really killed it. Her performance as Ashoka, I was so.
She did.
I was so impressed with her, and every time I see her like this, where she just pops up, I'm like, oh my gosh! So yes, 1,000,000%. I want her to keep being Ahsoka.
Yeah.
Yes, be lovely.
Love her to do it. I think a live action Clone Wars movie would be good. Plus, you can do things differently this time around. You can tell a little bit more of the story a little bit this time around. You can have more.
I would love to see the dynamic between the three of them. Not just. Because we already have the overall arc of Anakin becoming Darth Vader, but more of the three of them and how they grow with each other.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Don't worry about the Darth Vader stuff, but yeah, all the stuff that happened in between that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would love to see that.
I'm with. Honestly, you can do that. You can do that in a movie, John, Dave, if you're listening or watching, which I know you are. Or if you want to put it in a book that the three of us can read for the book club, I'd read it. Right? I mean, there's.
Can I be an extra on a set, please?
I think all three of us would be an extra on set, right?
Christie? I would like to be an extra.
Yes, please.
Would you like to be an extra, Christie? I mean, you'd want to be in on that, right?
Well, of course.
I'm assuming that you would. Okay.
Get me in.
I'm just making sure you want in on this. So those are our hopes and dreams and wishes of what we think is going to happen, what we hope to see happen within the Star Wars galaxy far, far away, or what we hope to see in Ahsoka moving forward. But let's get down to the nitty gritty here. And once again, this is Ahsoka's weekly mission. Don't forget to like and share this with everyone you know. If you have any thoughts about it, whether you're joining this live or on the replay, feel free to let us know in the comments of the chat. Christy, I'm going to go to you first. 8 episodes for Ahsoka. If you had to sum it all up and give it a score of 1 to 5, 1 being trash, 5 being a masterpiece, where are you going? Final thoughts. Go for it.
Probably 5. I give so many things a 5 though. I give everything 5 stars. I loved it. Like what Jen was saying earlier, if you look back at the beginning of the show, especially with like Sabine and Ahsoka and their own relationships, with their relationship together, that was just crazy. And it's just like crazy how for so many years you're like, where's Ezra? Where's Thrawn? And they're back. Like they're actually back. And I loved seeing it in live action. I would have taken it live action or animated. I know people have very strong opinions about which one they want, but as long as I got the story, I was happy. And I was just, I like looking back on it, like I can't believe it all just happened and it's done. And getting Hayden back as Anakin, that was amazing.
Yes.
Just like I said before, like I freaking love Ezra in live action. I really do. So
yeah, this guy's doing such a good job. I'm really impressed with his performance.
Yeah. So 5 out of 5 for me. Just look at the beginning to where they are now. Like each character, it's kind of crazy.
Okay. Wow, you give everything a 5, don't you?
A lot of it.
Okay. I mean, yeah, you talked up a big game last week about that indie film Solo and how much you love that. So
I love that movie.
We still need a sequel to Solo. We need
that would literally give you the underground stuff you were talking about too. So
in the words of an indie film that came out in 2004, stop trying to make fetch happen. It's never going to happen. Like, stop trying to make Solo 2 happen.
Never say never.
Never going to happen. Never.
Do that.
I would rather see a Clone Wars movie than a Solo Part 2 that nobody even asked for in the first place. But anyway,
We're
Jen,
asking for it. What do you mean no one's asking
no,
for
well,
it?
no one was asking for a Han Solo origin story in the beginning. No one was asking for it. I didn't hear anybody in the interweb saying, you know what we really need? We need an origin story of how Han Solo became Han Solo. No, we don't. No one needs that. No one wants that. Plus, if you want more Han Solo, how many books have been written about that character? 30,000 books have been written about Han Solo before he was a smuggler, during his smuggler years, and then after he became a smuggler. So come on. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. Jen, with all that being said, Ahsoka. Let's think about Ahsoka for a minute here. What do you think about Ahsoka as a whole, as a series overall, and on a scale of 1 to 5? What are you going to give Ahsoka here?
7. I'm going to give Ahsoka a 7. For me personally, I really enjoyed the show. I liked what they did with the story, because from where we started and where we ended, like I said before, it's so very different. And now thinking about everything that we just witnessed, a lot happened in 8 episodes. I mean, I will admit in the beginning, I did wonder if 8 episodes was enough. And with the other group that I'm a part of, where we have these discussions, that was talked about a lot the first 3 episodes, where is 8 enough? And always referencing Andor and the template that they use there, how that changed the game with that streaming show. So, but now seeing everything and what they did in the setup, I'm very happy with it. I'm really looking forward to see what's coming. If we get a season 2 of Ahsoka, I am ready for it. Let's go. And if it's just setting up for the movie or movies that they're working toward, I'm excited to see those now, because we have so many different directions we can go with this.
Yes.
Wow, 5 and a 7. Never thought I'd see that one. But anything is possible. And hey, it's opinion. Everyone has an opinion, and they're more than entitled to it. So here's the deal. Overall, let's talk about Ahsoka here for a minute. So Ahsoka, 8 episodes. Things worked. Some things I think could have been done differently. I think a few things could have been better. I think certain actors still need to grow into their roles because they didn't get a whole lot of screen time. But then again, there's only so much you can do. 8 episodes is a very tight limit, and it's a very tight amount of time in which to tell a story. And it's not an easy thing to do, no matter what type of series you're on. 8 episodes in a single season is very hard to do. But as a new series on Disney Plus, Ahsoka as a whole, the actors, I think, for the not everyone, I still think the young actress playing Sabine needs to grow into her role a bit more. I still think Mary Elizabeth Winstead needs to grow into her role a bit more. But Lars Mikkelsen as Thrawn, he owned it. Like that blue dude, he owned it. He owned it. That accent.
Oh, yeah.
This is what we're going to do. These troopers, it's an process. Like
hearing his
strategy
voice and seeing him in live action. Oh,
his
my
strategy,
That's amazing.
His strategy worked. Anyway. So certain actors did really well. I think the actor who's playing Ezra is really starting to come into his own as an actor. I think he's really doing well. He's only going to grow and get better as the series or the movies progress. So I think he, got better as the series went along. Once again, my hat's off to the costume people. My hats are off to the visual effects people, the special effects artists, the people who draw these things, people who design and put together these sequences that are not an easy thing to do. My hat's off to everybody. And I mean everybody in the cast and crew. And obviously my hats are off to the late, great Ray Stevenson, who played Baylan Skoll.
Yes.
And the young actress who played Shin. I think she was good, but could have been a little bit better. But then again, she didn't get a whole lot of screen time towards the end there, because it's just kind of like, shoved to the side, unfortunately. Did the same thing with Baylan, but then again, Ray Stevenson, it's an unfortunate situation. They're going to have to learn, what to do moving forward with that. But overall, I like this series. I didn't love it like I thought I was going to. Overall, I'm going to give it I'm going to say 3.5, maybe a 4 out of 5. 3.5, maybe 4 out of 5, because once again, they glossed over Sabine and Ezra, like telling the truth to each other and not having a fight. Certain issues weren't really resolved. They kind of glossed over a few things that should have been dug deeper with. Also, what was it? I'm looking, Baylan's unfortunate thing. Shin, I want to know what the heck is going on with her. Certain things could have been done differently. Certain characters could have gotten more moments in the sun, but with 8 episodes, there's only so much you can do and not a lot of time. But the action sequences were great. When the lightsaber battles had to happen, they happened. Like they were on board, son. So I like this series overall. It's up there. It's definitely better than some of the other series that we've had in the more recent era of Star Wars. I think to me, it's probably not counting the animation and live action stuff. That's two very different mediums. It's two very different mediums. But as live action goes, I probably put Ahsoka at number 2. Mandalorian is still cream of the crop for me. Still cream of the crop. Still the best series we've ever had on Star Wars. One of the best TV series we've ever had, period. Because there's a million things you can do with that. Ahsoka is good stuff. Rosario did a good job with what she was given. But man, Baylan, dude. Wish we would have gotten more of your brother. And also, I hope Baylan gets explored more in the books. So that's another thing we hope to hear or see within a book or an audiobook version featuring the character of Baylan from Ray Stevenson's character. Executives, I know you're watching or listening to this. Just give us the bloody book. So between 3.5 and a 4, I think I'm going to say 3. For now, I'm going to say 3.5. I'm still going to, marinate on it for a bit. But as of this moment, I'm going to give Ahsoka overall 3.5 out of 5. It's a good series. It's fun. It's got some good lines. Hu Yang is the understated MVP. Dude, David Tennant, man, I thought you were good as the Purple Man and Jessica Jones, but you come into this thing as a droid and schooling people on how things are supposed to go. It's like, they were supposed to stick together. They always supposed to stick together. And then he says, I don't like this plot. Like, he tells it like it is, brothers and sisters. And I love him for that. So Hu Yang, David Tennant, hats off to you. Great stuff. Good cast. Obviously, the highlights for me were the flashbacks between Ariana Greenblatt, Hayden. Those are some of the best scenes we've seen in Star Wars.
So good.
Man, that young actress, if
That
you're
is my
watching
favorite.
this, you have a very bright future ahead of you. First, you played
I am
Gamora.
so excited
Then
to
you're-
watch your career.
Then you're
I
playing
am
Ahsoka.
looking forward to it.
Honestly, Ariana, if you're watching this, the world is your oyster, young lady. It really is. There's a million things you can do. There's a million different roles you can play, but we know you can do it because you've proven you can hang with the big dogs. You've hung out with people like Josh Brolin. You've hung out with people like Hayden Christie. I mean, you're hanging out with some of the biggest named stars in Hollywood. And you're like, what? You're like this age? You're like, what, 13? What is she, 12, 13, 14?
16.
Well,
16.
when you think about it, she's actually having somewhat of a similar experience to Hayden, because when you look at Hayden's movies, the actors and the caliber he's worked with since Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, like, he worked with a lot of big names early on. Samuel L. Jackson, Christopher Lee, Ewan McGregor, Samuel L. Jackson twice because of Jumper. And then, like, if you look at all his films, he's worked with a lot of
Peter Skarsgård.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So she's kind of having a similar experience to him.
Yeah.
As an apprentice.
Great talent, lots of great talent out there. And Hollywood, if you're watching this, hire more young up-and-coming actors that haven't been discovered yet. Honestly, just give them a shot at Star. But those are my thoughts on Ahsoka. But hey, Ahsoka's over. It's all over. But you know what? Star Wars isn't going anywhere. So I want to tell you all a little something that we're going to be doing here in the near future. So Jen, Christie, and myself have been thinking about it. We've been talking about it. And we thought, you know what? Star Wars, we're not going to get any new Star Wars content for a while. I mean, yes, we're getting some new books that are coming out in the near future. Yes, we're getting the comic books that are being released in your local comic shops, which, by the way, hashtag support your local comic shops, ladies and gentlemen. Feel free to go over there, pick up a comic. The High Republic series, I think, is still going on right now, right, in the comic book form. So
Just came out today.
there you go. Giddy up. It's new comic book day. So pick up a comic, read a book. There's a million Star Wars books. There's no right or wrong way to start. Start with wherever you want. But hey, if you want a good title to start with, I heard Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray is always a good place to start. So you always got that going for you. But what Christy, Jen, and I are going to be doing, we're going to be doing something called the Nerdy Cantina. Now, what that is that the three of us are going to come back here in the near future. We're still figuring out the dates and the times for this. But once we do, we're going to come back and we're going to discuss just, things Star Wars, things we like, things we don't, whatever. But we're going to be doing it with the help of a friend here. And this friend, I want to introduce you to him right here. So this is the chat pack of Star Wars cards that contains 125 different questions centered around the galaxy far, far away. This is brought to you by Inside Editions. Hashtag not a sponsor. But if they want to be, give me a call. So who are you going to call? But we are going to draw some cards and we're going to ask ourselves these questions, but we want you to interact with us as well. So the Nerdy Cantina, that's what we're going to be calling it. That sounds good to you, right, ladies? Does that sound like a good name?
I like it.
Yeah. I think it could be fun. So that's what we're going to be doing here. And if you want to join in on that, let us know. And who knows, maybe we'll bring in some special guests. Maybe we'll get a special guest in here every week. Maybe we'll get a fourth member to the team, so we can have a fantastic four, 4 Jedis, right? That could be fun. Who knows, right? Anything is possible. So that's what we're going to be doing. So stay tuned for more details on that. A few other things that I'll tell you about in just a moment. But Christie. Hello, Snips. It's good to see you again. Snips, where can the person watching or listening follow you on the interwebs and keep up to date with everything you have going on?
You can find me at Snips & Co. on Instagram and Etsy, where I make canvases like that Darth Maul right there. And I have a show in New Jersey at the end of October. And you can also follow me at Admiral Reads and at Book Ascendancy.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for being here with us. Chris, appreciate it. Jen, where can the people of the interwebs follow you on social media?
Thank you again for having me. This has really been great. You can follow me at Jen Erminia Gadaski. That is my Instagram handle, as well as Rocking Your Balls. That is my podcast where I speak with a number of different people in the alopecia community about being people with alopecia. It's really fun. And a few other things in the works too. So make sure you follow and keep a sharp eye.
Great stuff. Thank you so much, ladies. Do greatly appreciate it. We'll talk to you again here in just a moment. My name is Ryan of Nerd Culture. Follow me if you dare and tell me how right or wrong I am about maybe a sequel to a certain indie film called Solo is never going to happen. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at RyanRPM5. Also, make sure you follow us and subscribe to us, because once we hit 1,000 subscribers, we are going to throw the great big live stream celebration that no one has ever seen. Jen is probably going to stop by and say hello. I think Christie is going to stop by and say hello. We would love to have them both here. And once we hit 1,000, you're eligible to win some giveaways. And let me tell you something about those giveaways. A great artist, a friend of ours known as John Pinto, has put together some wonderful prints that you are going to be eligible to win. This happens to be one of them. Ooh, speaking of Star Wars, nothing but Star Wars. If you want to win this thing and have us send it to you, you got to tell your friends about us and help us reach 1,000, because once we do, we're going to have some giveaways during that live stream, and maybe we'll do some other ways to present these giveaways to you as well. We're still in the planning stages of that, but take a look at this. Here's another print you can win. Look at that. It's Star Trek, Strange New Worlds. Look at those incredible characters. Anyone a fan of Star Trek? Jen, Christie, you familiar with this at all? Boldly go where no one has gone before. How about them apples? Also, a recent property is about to celebrate, what is it now? Christie, Jen, 60 years? I don't know. Look at that. Look at those doctors. Anyone know what a doctor is? Does anyone know this? Doctor Who is turning over 60 this year. And look at this print that you could win. Look at that. Look at that. Look how beautiful this is. This is the art of John Pinto. So make sure you're following him on Facebook and Instagram at The Art of John Pinto on Instagram. Follow him right now. Do it. Look at these prints. This is just a small smidget of some of the prints that we're going to be giving away to you, our incredible viewers/subscribers. So tell your friends about us. We want to reach 1,000 before the end of 2023. If we are one with the Force and the Force is with us, we can do it. I know we can do it. Also, we're going to be celebrating the genre known as Westerns on Friday night, October the 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, hosted by Ryan and Lori. That's going to be a lot of fun. Also, the meaning of fandom. We are going to have special guests from around the globe joining us to share with us what a specific fandom or character from that specific fandom means to that person and why. Jen, Christie, you're both invited to join us on future episodes of this brand new show, The Meaning of Fandom, because we know you got thoughts, my friends. Yeah. Big dog. Yeah, that's real. The Meaning of Fandom. First episode's going to drop on Sunday night, October the 8th at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. We already got a good selection of guests for that first roundtable. I'm going to be your host, so that's going to be a lot of fun. Also, you ever wonder who composed the theme songs to your childhood in the 90s? Yeah, X-Men, Power Rangers, Dragon Ball Z, all that stuff. Ron Wasserman is that composer. He composed all those theme songs, Christy, Jen, and the person who may be watching or listening to this. He composed... That was him. So he's going to be here with us on Saturday, October the 14th at 12 p.m. Eastern Time for a special episode of And I Quote. Boy, and you think the galaxy has a lot of stories to tell. At Nerd Culture Channel has a lot of stories to tell. You can follow me and our guests, Christy and Jen. The links are located in the description of each and every single one of our videos of Ahsoka's Weekly Mission, which you can also find our past episodes on For the Star Wars Nerds playlist. So in the meantime, like, comment, share, subscribe, ring that bell to be notified when our new videos go up or they go live. And remember, the Force will be with you always. Take a look.
There's so many. Has anyone been to them all?
Not likely.
I want to be the first one to see them all.
Truly wonderful the mind of a child is.
Come on. When you find people who need your help, you help them. No matter what.
We have hope. Hope that things can get better. And they will.
Stand up together. Because that's when we're strongest. As one.
You won't be going alone. You'll have a friend with you.
No. I'll have a Jedi with me.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
Rise.
Rise in the Force.
Take care of this little one.
It'll take care of you. We had each other. That's how we won.
Force is strong in my family.
Its energy surrounds us and binds us.
What is it they've sent us?
Hope.
All right, I'm a little tired, I'm a little wired, and I think I deserve a little appreciation.